Hello guys and girls, welcome. I am SimUK and this, as you may have noticed, is Farming Simulator 19. Just sat here looking at that intro and now knowing what the game comes with, you can see everything that they put into that video was there to show you what was coming that was new. And I think in all honesty they did a good job, and if you take that on base value, you can easily see that this game has probably improved and evolved the most it has in its entire lifetime. FS15 was quite a big jump. FS17 was quite a minimal jump. I mean, we got a train, which irritated me beyond belief. But yeah, unfortunately, all those things that they show you there doesn't really distract you from the fact that the physics are still awful, the menus still need adjusting, and of course, even though they delayed release by a month, when the game came out, it was an absolute buggy nightmare. But, you know, I have to say, and I'm going to talk a little bit before I start making any videos today, but I have to say that potentially this is the best farm sim released to date. Now, it has some significant issues, and part of the reason for making these videos, twofold actually. First reason is, and big shout out to the Hidden Levels, who actually hooked me up with this key back when the game released, because Giants absolutely point blank refused to send me a key, and I wasn't willing to spend 30 odd quid on yet another farm sim edition that didn't fix any of the problems that we've all been asking to have addressed for 10 years. You might be able to tell in my voice already that this game does wind me up. It does get on my tits. It really does. Now, you might think, Sim, you never play farm sim games, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, you'd be wrong. If you look back at my early videos, my entire channel was built on two things: Farm Simulator and FSX. Now, oddly, they're the two games that least appear on my channel these days, and there's a multitude of reasons. But what I used to do with Farm Sim, and this was back before I knew anything about recording in bulk, so every single day after work or early in the morning or at the weekends, I would make a video every single day on Farm Sim 15 this was. And yeah, I did that for quite a long time, and it's always been my passion to have farm sim on my channel. I love farming. My entire childhood has evolved nearby or around farming. My uncle owns a farm in Aberdeenshire, or did own a farm in Aberdeenshire. Farming is a really, really calming, rewarding, something I've always wanted to do. I'd love to own my own farm. It's never going to happen. But Farm Sim for me was definitely a connection to that life that I wish I had, if that makes sense. And I think for a lot of people it's that way. But of course, as you know, if you know SimUK, I'm all about ultimate realism. And there are things in Farm Sim that have been so wrong for so long. And we keep telling them, and then they just don't fix it. They refuse to address the flipping issue. John Deere's in it this year. Okay, great. Last year, or last edition, it was a train. We've added a train because all farmers have trains these days. You know, what's going to come next? A spaceship? A hovercraft? Who knows? I bet you they don't fix the fact that the menu is an absolute abomination. I bet you they don't fix the fact that the LOD system is an absolute joke. Or the fact that, you know, oh, there's so many things. So many things. I'm not going to go off on a spiel, okay? So, big shout out to THL, who have hooked me up with a key for this, and they've been patiently waiting for me to make a review. And I've tried to make a review on this game 3 times at least now. The problem with this game is, the problem with Farming Simulator in total is, without the modding community, it's a big pile of crap. It really is bland. And if you're going to jump to their defense, okay, you can only jump to their defense and tell me that I'm wrong if you're playing this game 100% vanilla. And I guarantee you're not. And the reason why you're not is because in its vanilla state, it doesn't work. It's not realistic. It doesn't have so many features. or it's lacking so many features that are absolutely essential to the gameplay experience. When you've been playing FS17, excuse me, when you've been playing FS17, as I've tried to do a couple of times, I do love FS17 when it's fully modded. You know, you've got seasons, you've got the real physics, you've got GPS, you've got follow me, you've got gears, you've got all this stuff that makes the game so much better than it is in its vanilla state. Basically, it's like a framework, isn't it, Farm Simulator? So if you're going to make... This is why I didn't make a review before now, because if you make a review on Farming Simulator 19 when it comes out, you'd say, well, it's crap, isn't it? The UI, the helpers, are complete imbeciles. I mean, Farm Sim 19, the UI are the dumbest UI I've ever seen. It's a good job that if you turn damaged crops on, or crop damage on, or whatever it's called, you'll notice that the UI doesn't damage your crops, even though they drive all over them, because they're horrifically coded. They're the dumbest UI I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I actually preferred it back when they tried to drive normally and got stuck on a tree or a bush, because at least you could sort of fix that with some mods, because you'd get them to harvest. I forget what it's called now. You forgive me for forgetting all of the terms. But when you sort of go around the outside of a field 2 or 3 times and just leave, a big 20-meter gap on the outside, you could get them to do that with mods. With the GPS mod or whatever, or what's the other one, CP, you could get them to do that, and then they just harvest the rest of it and not get stuck on trees. That actually worked better. At least they didn't go forwards and then reverse back over the crops and then turn round. And every time they do it, they go forwards, backwards, then do a turn. It's awful to look at. Really bad. Anyway, that was a long spiel. The spiel is over, okay? This is going to be my attempt at playing Farming Simulator 19. I desperately want to get some farming back onto Sim UK. It's one of my favourite things. It's a brilliant chill out. 2 things I used to do to chill out was Euro Truck Simulator 2, which I'm trying to bring back at the moment, and Farming Simulator. 2 of these games I could just chill, relax, and enjoy. And I'd love to get that back onto the channel. I think it's important for me personally that I somehow managed to do that. So my plan is once a week a farm sim video will come up which will cover an entire week of in-game play. That's the plan. I don't know if it's going to work with Farming Simulator 19. I may end up reverting back to 17. I've waited, 3 months, 4 months to see how well or how much the modding community can change this game and improve it. And I've downloaded every mod that I can find off the official Giants website. I think there's about 250 mods on there. So I've got all of those installed. By the way, that's not how I recommend you install mods, 250 at a time. That's just ridiculous. There's a couple of maps on there, not many. I mean, this time last year, 3 months into the Farm Sim 17 edition release, there were way more mods, so I'm a little bit concerned on that front, but I'm sure it will work itself out. Maybe as the game does slowly become modded, more people will enjoy playing it, and a lot of people do enjoy playing it, don't get me wrong. It's just I'm looking for that ultimate realism kick, and it's so far from being that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play, and then I'm going to use the play time that I've generated in order to make my review. So that's what's going to happen. So you're going to see the review first, and then hopefully that will be followed by some gameplay. And if I enjoy it, and if you enjoy it, then I'll make a continuous series on it. Farm Sim 19, if the modding community can get behind it, could be spectacular. It's definitely got the best UI out of all the Farm Sim prior to this release. That's not to say it's particularly good. It's got some glaring issues itself, but it's definitely improved dramatically over FS17 and 15, etc, etc, etc. So let's get in. Let's shall I jump in and do some tutorials? I don't think I need to do any tutorials, to be honest with you. I haven't played for ages. My terminology is all over the place. I can't remember a flipping thing, pretty much. Let's go into the mods. You can see I've got quite a few here. Quite a few. Now, the most important one for me... I'm also not a fan of the fact that... oh, look, there's a couple more. There's 3 more. 4 more since yesterday. Or 5. An extra map. Interesting. That was an update for Estanciola Patio. Update is X. Now, the reason why that's probably been updated is because version 1.3 has landed, and I'm guessing that when I downloaded that was prior to that update, so that's fine. What's weird is I only seem to have 1 map in there. I've downloaded so many things. Let's get all the mods installed. Or is it perhaps because it's like part way through installing everything? I don't know. So it is nice to have this in-game installation thingy. One of the most important mods for me, by a long, long way, is yeah, one of the most important mods for me is the gears mod for the tractors, because that makes such a huge difference, an enormous difference. And I'm glad to see that Giants have brought back the bee house and the greenhouses. You know, I give Giants a lot of grief because they don't fix a lot of things, but one thing that I will absolutely doff my hat to, and you know, congratulate them and thank them at the same time. And I will show my appreciation by buying DLCs and so on and so forth, if I like Farm Sim 19, is the fact that they have a very strong modding community. Therefore, they have a decent modding background, and they also release free mods themselves, things like bee houses and greenhouses. I mean, it's nothing special. They were both in FS19. They do look a bit different, but the greenhouses not so much, but the bee houses look to have been enhanced and improved graphically. So it is nice that they do produce stuff like that. There's a few other things that they've done. I mean, they're not shy about installing, you know, providing mods for people for free, which is great. What I do find a little bit interesting and almost insulting, if you will, is if you go and look on their website, they actually have a tutorial for modding. Now, based on the fact that this game without modding is absolute trash and nobody would ever play it, I do find it rather odd and quite insulting that they're charging, I think, £5 for this modding tutorial. Why on earth they can't just provide that for free is beyond me. But that's just my opinion, and not everybody's going to agree with that. But I think charging £5 for a modding tutorial for a game that basically wouldn't exist if it didn't have modding, and fantastic modders behind it. Yeah, I find that really odd. Why can't they provide that for free? Let me know your thoughts on that. I think it's a bit off, to be honest with you. Chances are, though, and this is a commitment I've made to myself, I've always wanted to make mods for Farm Sim. Back before Farm Sim 17 was released, and they really upset me. I mean, genuinely heartfelt upset there. I've always wanted to do some modding, so I'll probably buy that pack and make some mods of my own. I'd definitely like to make a map. I was thinking maybe I could make my uncle's map up in Aberdeenshire. That would be cool. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so, yeah, it's about 250 mods. And one mod that I desperately needed was gears. Now, gears for FS19 don't actually exist, but the mod, I'm just trying to see if I can find it. This is the installed stuff. So we'll just flick through and see if we can see it. But the mod that was released a very, very, very long time ago, FS15 period, called Gear Mod. I think it's actually called Gear Mod or something like that. I understand that it works in FS19. It also worked in FS17, which was a massive improvement for me. Really immersed me a hell of a lot more. And yeah, I've seen that apparently it works in FS19. So I have relocated it because I'd misplaced it, and I have installed it here. You can see I've got things like this, the money tool. This mod adds $1 million to your account by pressing the Control, Alt and 0 key. I'm 1,000,000% not going to use that. But I just wanted to install it so that I've got all the mods in order to make this review or whatever. You know, and it might get to the point where I get so annoyed with the game I don't want to play anymore, and then I can just use that mod and get loads of money, and then just sort of, just so I can fully experience everything that the game has to offer. That's basically what I'm trying to do. Speed control. 32 animal husbandries. That sounds good. I don't know if you've heard of this mod, but this mod lifts the animal husbandry limit from 10 to 32. So now you can have up to 32 animal husbandries per save game in single player and multiplayer. Note that the limit wasn't arbitrary, and there are some performance considerations when having that many animals. I recommend to only use all 32 slots if your PC and the PCs of your other players, in case of a server, can handle it. It is also recommended to not place all the husbandries next to each other, instead have them scattered around the map, so it's not having to render everything at the same time. So yeah, that's good. We like that one. See, this is another thing, okay? These are quality of life issues that really irritate me about Giants, and I've said this since FS15, okay? You can see here that this is not ordered in any logical way whatsoever. Why can't we have a filter? Why can't we have a search bar here? Well, I mean, there is a search now. I tell a lie, there is a search. I just spotted that. I literally just spotted that. But there's no filter. So why can't I have it alphabetically ordered? Why can't I have it by date of installation? Do you know what I mean? Simple, really simple stuff like that should have been added in the last 10 years, and it's not here. And that it's things like that that really wind me up about this game. It's ignorance. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, we haven't included a filter for the menu, but we have given you a train. I don't want a train. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel. Let's try gear. No content available. That's a little bit concerning. Wow, there is a significant lag between me trying to go back and actually being able to go back. That is very odd. Player action cam. I like the idea of that. What is the player action cam? Let's have a little look, see here. This mod allows you to move and modify the field of view of the player camera by mouse. Use the middle mouse button to control the player height. Use the middle mouse button whilst holding the right mouse button to control the field of view. In order to reset, press the middle mouse button once. That's quite cool. That could be interesting. Wow. That takes so long. I'm going to tell you when I press the button next time. No crosshair, that's another good one. Disables the crosshair in the middle, which I don't particularly want to see. That silly little circle. Right, 3. I'm going to press back in when I count down to 0. Ready? 3, 2, 1, now. Waiting. 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 There we go. Good God. What is that all about? Quality of life issues. Quality of life issues. Okay. So I can't see it. Mods downloaded. Mods were downloaded successfully. Please restart the game to install them. Right, okay, I'm going to do that because I want to check and see if my Gears mod is in the list as well. So I shall be back in one moment. Okay, we are back. Let's have another little look at the mods here and just see if we can't find this. No, still not there. Okay. Let's just jump in and see what's going on. Delete, yes. One thing I do like about Farm Sim 19 is the fact that you've got this 3-tier difficulty setting. I would like to see, start from scratch, the hardcore element be totally hardcore. So all settings, and I know a lot of things do change, like you earn less money for crops that you sell now that that's been fixed. I do like that because, you know, it does accommodate the hardcore sim fan. I once saw an interview where one of the developers said, "Oh yeah, we could make Farm Simulator 19 totally realistic, 100% realistic," but nobody would like that. And I just thought, "Oh, you idiot! If only I was there now." But yeah, I mean, I have to understand, and I do appreciate that there's the likes of me that wants the super hardcore difficulty, realistic settings, realistic, not just hard, but realistically hard, like, you know, in reality. Then you got like the middle ground people, and then you got the people who want a total chill out experience, and also children. Sometimes children want to play the game, and I have nothing against children playing the game. In fact, I encourage it. I think it's a really good idea. So I'm glad they've introduced this 3-tier system anyway. So, Ravenport, Felsbrunn, Alps Panorama at the Northern Sea, Brook, this is Brook, Estancio Lapacho, Grizzly Mountain is a forestry map with basic farming capability, Marwell Manor Farm, welcome to Marwell Manor Farm, which I set in Hampshire, UK, that's my hometown, Hampshire. Mercury Farms with 60 fields. You can cut down any or all hedges and barbed wire fences with a chainsaw on any land that you own. This will give you room to merge and reshape all of your fields in the way that you prefer. Now, that aspect of the game has to be commended. I see an aeroplane there. I wonder if there's going to be an aeroplane mod at some point. I'd have preferred an aeroplane mod than a train, to be quite honest with you, but that's just me. Mercury Farms has many built-in custom placeables, giving you the option to place and move farmhouses, silos, animals and vehicle shelters to build your farm as you like. I guess that says something like that. Shame that it doesn't actually fit on the screen. It would be nice if they coded it so that it expanded as necessary, or limited the number of text characters so that it fit. Something like that. New Barterschlagen. Welcome to New Barterschlagen, a small place at Grabower Badern. So you can see there's a couple of maps. I don't know any of them. I don't know if any of them are any good. I don't know if any of them are bad. But actually, I've got to go back a second and just see. Yeah, I'm on 1.3.01. So there's a map here that I saw yesterday whilst I was downloading all of this stuff. Oh, what did I do then? There's a map here that's only available with the latest update, and I can't see it here. I forget what it's called, but it's not here. I'll have to investigate that in a bit. But yeah, this is going to be very much a first look here. So let's start with Ravenport, because I want to show you something that irritates me. This is interesting. Character 1, character 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 characters. So not many. Hairstyle, totally irrelevant if you've got a hat on. Brockman. Oh, Bockman. We're going to go for Bachmann for reasons which I won't share with you right now. Vest, yeah, nice leather vest. Looks a little bit like the YMCA, but you know, whatever. Sunglasses or no sunglasses. I mean, this is so limited, isn't it? So limited. How do I get over to shirt colour? Oh, okay, just keep going down. White, blue, pink, yellow, red. What should we go for? I'm going to go for that. Accessory, sunglasses. Yeah, let's have sunglasses. Why not? So I mean, yeah, it's good that it's there, but it's pretty flipping limited, isn't it? Continue. Right, now as it stands, I've got all 250 mods turned on, and you'll notice that it is ordered by alphabetical. It is alphabetically ordered or alphabetized, which is good. Why they can't do that everywhere, I don't know. Go for the gear mod. It doesn't seem to be showing up. I'm definitely going to have to look at this because I've seen it working. So I know it works in the game. I've obviously installed it incorrectly somehow, which is a tad frustrating, but we'll get there. The fact that I know it does work with the game is good enough for me. Oops. Now, if you watch Sim UK often, you'll know that I've got a truck gear shifter knob now, and I really was hoping to be able to use it in Farm Sim. I thought that would be perfect with the gear mod, but I don't think that the gear mod is going to be able to cope with the persistent on-off switches that shifter has. I will try it, but I'm not holding much faith for that. Okay, let's jump into Raven's Fort. I forgot to turn on my Xbox 360 controller. We'll see if it'll work. You only have enough money to start a small farm. First, buy some land, buildings, and necessary tools. Then sell your products and expand your farm. Say okay. Right now, first thing is look at the shadows. That's horrible. And it's constant. It is so horrible. And these clouds are meant to be moving, right? Very slowly. Okay, well that's good. I'm glad they are moving. It means weather is coming in at a slow pace rather than instantly or immediately. What's this thing? What is that thing? If you know what that is, please let me know in the comment section. Very odd. Okay, so there used to be a red building here, I'm sure of it. So, LOD, which stands for level of detail. What is that tree doing? Is the tree made out of jelly? So unnatural. Can you see all the shadows on the trees? I don't think that's the LOD, I think that's draw distance. I mean, it could be LOD because, you know, shadows do come under the LOD umbrella. And you can see that there literally is a sphere around me, and as I walk towards stuff, that's where the detail comes in. It's horrible. It's so distracting, and I can only assume that it's like that. still like that to accommodate console players. And I have nothing against console players, but I genuinely think that console players should have their own game. I really genuinely believe that accommodates them and really focuses on controller support and, you know, really does everything that they want. And I think that PC players should have their own game where you can focus on higher graphical levels and, you know, really pushing the boundaries. Oh look, I can go in the pond. And oddly, when I jump in the pond, I get an alert from Fishing Planet. It's like they're watching me. That's not brilliant graphics, is it? Let's be fair. It's not the worst I've ever seen. Quite a lot of the ground is very blocky. Can I squeeze through there? I'm not sure I can. No, I think the waterfall is going to block me. Can I get across? By hook or by crook? Okay, you see how I'm sort of climbing up it? There you go, look. These are the kind of issues that I was really hoping FS19 wouldn't have. I thought FS19 was going to be next gen stuff. But, you know, here I am, 30 feet above the waterfall, looking at a lovely structure that you can't get to or do anything with. I mean, these are the things that do frustrate me about the game. And I have to be honest, you know, that is how I feel about the game. Try and be positive and whatnot, but it's not always easy. So there's a bit of a run-down, dirty, scrappy type situation here, which is fine. I would hope that you can buy this land and somehow get rid of this, like tow it away, clear it up, delete it, something. I'm not sure if that is an option in the game. I will find out as I play. I'm determined to make this review, so today, you know, as much as the game annoys me, I will still be trying to play the game and enjoy the game and review the game, etc. So there's a lot that's new. We come into this. Actually, two things I want to show you. First of all, the map has changed. How do I get out? How do I get out of here? Just start again. Oh, there we go. So if we come over to a field, which doesn't belong to us at the moment, you can see here that this field is owned by Kenneth Fletcher. It's growing cotton, another new feature. It's growing, it's 50% fertilised, and I think weed means how much weed there is rather than how well it's been weeded. It also needs some lime, but yeah, if you look at the plants as I walk towards them, they kind of fold down, and I have got crop destruction on, but as you can see, there is no crop destruction. So, I mean, arguably they have physics now, and yeah, I mean, it's something, isn't it? But at the same time, it's nothing. It's like something and nothing all at the same time. And I do like how the plants sway and move, but I really wish that the start point was more random. So they're not, because at the moment it looks like a concert, doesn't it? They're almost all swaying together. They're either going one way or the other. There's no sort of random aspect to it. Like if you go and stand at a field and a gust of wind comes along, you can literally see the gust of wind work its way across the field. That's how it works. That's reality. And if it's gusty, then they're kind of all over the place. But here on FS19, it's like they're either going one way or the other way, and there's so many of them doing the same thing that it just looks like it's in unison. I think that you know, it's good, but I just think they could do it better. And really, that's farm sim all over, isn't it? It's good, but it could be better. Oh, farm sim has just posted an announcement. Anderson Group Equipment Pack is now available. Well, there you go. And you'll have seen, you know, the big YouTubers reviewing this stuff and telling you all the faults are in, you know, all the issues that they find. No, sorry. Big YouTubers don't tell you all the faults that they find. They only tell you the good stuff. So it's not really a review. It's more of a... It's like an advertisement that they get paid for and make money off when you buy the DLC, because they haven't told you about any of the issues. But anyway, that's a completely different subject. I was in the middle of explaining that the fields in the farms have information which was previously available in the map. So now you don't have to bring the map up to see what sort of condition a field is in. I appreciate the fact that they've added this. I like the fact that they've added this, but I've got to say, there was a mod that did this. You could like buy a little handheld device and come over and test the soil. And I kind of prefer that approach from a realism perspective. I don't like that it just pops up when you're nearby. I'd rather you have to physically go and do it. You have to buy a piece of equipment and then test it that way. I think that just worked better. And in addition to that, when you open up the map, you now don't have that information. So it tells you what fruit types you have. I find it really hard to navigate this. Where am I? Down here on 24. So if I press R3 on 24... Zoom in on 24. We're definitely down here. R3 to select. How do I then... I don't know how to navigate using a controller. I can do it with the mouse, obviously. Okay, you do have some growth information, soil composition, fruit types. Okay, I take that back. Maybe that's been updated, I don't know. I was almost sure you couldn't see that information in the map anymore. I take it back. That's part of what this whole series is going to be about, is me getting over the hang-ups I have on this game. Because I need farm sim in my life. I enjoy playing this game so much when it was FS15. And, you know, there's nothing that's really replaced it. There's been a few games that have come out that promised to replace it. None of them have. That's part of what this is all about, really. Okay, let's actually see what we can do here. I want to find a building and test out the LOD. The building's over here. They've updated and upgraded the mission system. That I appreciate. I think that's a good thing. Do you see that shadow issue? Oh, it irritates me so badly. Okay, so level of detail. Up close. Looks okay. Some of the textures on this truck are not fantastic. I like the sheen effect that they've got going on. The lighting has been improved. That's better. But as we back off, does the level of detail drop considerably? You can see all the trees starting to lose their detail. Getting ever closer. We've lost sight of it. Yeah, that's not too bad, I suppose. The shadows on the trees are horrendous. And I'm running on Ultra, so I really wish there was something more I could do with that. And interesting, my L2 and R2 buttons do not work on the Xbox 360 controller. I have to use the wheel to navigate the menu, which means that the controller binding thing is a bit squiffy, in my humble. Right, what have we got here? Helper refill manure. Economy, economic difficulty. Normal, hard, easy, normal. Traffic on. The traffic is another thing that's really irritated me for years. This is the only place in the world in this game where tractors have to wait for traffic, where tractors get held up by traffic and get annoyed with traffic. Traffic follow tractors at a slow pace because that's how fast tractors are, or how slow tractors are. This game has got it all back to front. It irritates me, but unbelievably. There's a new dirt mod as well, which theoretically will make dirt more realistic, so I look forward to seeing how that works. Stop and go braking, I detest. I'm glad you can turn that off now. Fuel usage is default low, so we'll keep that on default. Helper refill fuel. Whether or not the helper automatically refills all fuel he consumes will increase helper cost. Yeah, probably leave that off. I don't know. I don't want him running out of fuel. We'll leave it off for now anyway. For all of those. Plant growth. I can't adjust that. That's stuck at normal. I was going to set it to slow. Plant withering on. Crop destruction is on, although I've already shown you that's not overly effective. You can't destroy crops by walking on them. Periodic ploughing required is on. Lime required is on. Weeds are on. Autosave interval 15 minutes. Let's go times 30. Hang on, is that faster? $15. Can't see it makes much difference up there. Let's try 5 again. Oh, I see. So I've got a real-time clock in the top right-hand corner. That must be a mod. I was looking at the wrong clock then. So apologies. Okay, so 9:57. Okay, so 30 is too fast. Real time I don't want. 5 times, 15 times. What happened to 10 times? There used to be a 10 times speed, I'm sure there did. Alright, well we're going to go for 5 times speed, I think. We'll try that, we'll see how it goes. This is all stuff I've got to adjust and work out and set up and get used to. I mean, graphically, the graphics system has had an overhaul, and yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good, but look at that for a texture. I mean, that's not great, is it? You look at the tyres are good, but you look at the underside of the car and you just think, sheesh, you know. Also, I mean, what sense does it make that you've got this scrap car here, which if that was upside down you wouldn't notice very much, but they've got this brand new, super shiny, nothing wrong with it at all car that's upside down, and that just looks odd to me. Odd decisions. Perhaps it's not meant to be upside down, perhaps that's just a bug or an issue or something. So anyway, structures and areas like this I'm hoping I can delete and destroy and reutilise for something else with all the new modding tools and stuff and such. You can see a bit of grass is coming through the bottom of the cars there. I understand that's a problem all over the place. The heat and energy zone. Presumably they do some sort of... Oh, here we go. How do I activate that then? Why is that not activating? It's jolly odd. I can't tell you any information about this place because the game just, for some reason, isn't going to let me. Fair enough. Alright, let's actually try and get something on the go here. What have we got? Help windows off, help icons in the game are off. We just saw one. Maybe that's why I can't see what it says, because it's off. Pound, miles, acres, interactive zone markers on. Field info is on. Oh, you can turn that off. That's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. Radio is off. Radio range is vehicle only. Reset camera is off. Remembers the camera position per vehicle once you exit. Oh, we'll turn that on. That's a good feature. Dynamic vehicle camera. The camera will try to stay horizontal to the world. I'm going to turn that off, I think. Well, I don't know. Is that an external or internal camera? We'll have to test that. Easy arm controls are off. Camera sensitivity 100. This is something that's been added in 1.3, the steering back speed and the steering sensitivity speed, or it's been adjusted or something. I don't know. I think these settings are really for people who use keyboard and mouse, and obviously they need... they do need some further assistance, so I'm glad they've added that for those people. Yeah, that's all sort of volumey stuff. That looks good. I am so glad that you can set up your keyboard controls in the game now. You have no idea how long I have asked for this feature. It used to be, if you wanted to change a keybind for the game, you had to exit the game, make the changes, and then restart the game. Awful. So I'm glad you can do it in game now. That means a lot to me. Huge amounts. Right. Weirdly though, you see how I'm jumping there? According to this, I don't have a keybind for jump. But I do. So I think that whole area is a bit broken still. And one thing that definitely needs to happen, another thing I've been asking for years, is rather than having 700 keybinds in a very long list that's not ordered in any kind of logical way whatsoever, there's no filter, there's no search here. So trying to find the right keybind option is an absolute pain in the arse. But, oh, there we go, there's the gamepad control, sorry, that was my mistake. But what they need to do is they need to group them. So have like player controls in one tab, have another tab with tractor driving controls, have another tab for interaction controls, have another one for menu controls. Just tab it out. So there's not 500 in a long list here, but like say 30 to 40 in each tab. That would just be so much easier to work with. Quality of life. I mean, come on, make some effort. This I am relatively happy with, always have been. I think the help tutorials and information that is provided by Farming Simulator has always been, I mean, it's brief, but it's enough. You know what I mean? It's enough to get you going. It's enough to make you understand. Although here is the thing that annoys, I think, everybody. If you look at the icons, some of them are more obvious than others. But what what is really tricky is stuff like this, like the grass, the hay, the straw. Do you know what I mean? They're all very similar, and it's very easy to forget which one is which. Why, oh why, they can't have tooltips on stuff? Quality of life. Like here. Hover over it, give me a tooltip, tell me what it is. Do you know what I mean? Look at those shadows in the background. That just looks so awful, honestly. It makes me cry what they've done to this game. Right, so we've got a balance of 500,000. We don't have any loans, which is good. Oh, excuse me. So this is the new contract section. This is quite good. I like how they've done this. Two things I don't like, though, is they've removed the time limits on doing jobs. I don't mind having that option for people who don't want to have time limits, who don't want to play realistically, but don't remove time limits for people like me, because crops wither. You know, if someone wants you to harvest their crops, it needs to be done by a certain time or a certain day. It has to be done by that time. And by removing that time limit, you're just removing any kind of realism that aspect of the game has for me. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, add to the fact that even though I've got crop withering on, any contractual jobs, they won't wither. You can just take forever. You can start a job today, finish it in 6 years' time, and it will still be fine. I don't appreciate that at all. That's really upset me, I have to say. I think I've covered all of the introductory complaints and annoyances that I have. And there are quite a few, to be fair. But that is how I feel. That really is how I feel. This game upsets me so much. It's so good, and yet they make no effort to fix the mistakes and the issues that the game has. That does irritate me. Right, lands. Let's have a look-see here. I would like to buy something really cheap. Really cheap. So that's 295, 315, 313. Interesting. 448. Another thing I'd like to see the game do. You see we've got a railroad silo west here. It would be great that when you're buying land, you can actually own the property and business that's on it as well. Not in the sense that you buy the land, you get that, but that you're not limited by only buying the land, but you can also save up and buy the business. Because one of the things I really am intrigued by is competitive multiplayer, as it's being called. I like that idea, you know, and competitive multiplayer doesn't necessarily have to be competitive. You can help each other out and be friendly neighbours and such. But wouldn't it be cool if you could buy the silo? You know, obviously it would have to be very expensive. But then every time your teammate or your opponent comes up here to sell his stuff, he's basically selling it to you. You're paying him out of your money and making a profit or a loss depending on what happens. And then you could have external sources, so like where it goes off the map here, you know, they could have prices up here in the city or whatever for canola, and you will adjust and change the price that you want to sell it to your other, you know, multiplayer farms. You adjust the price that you want to sell it to them for. I think that would be a great extra aspect to the game. Maybe Farm Sim 2021 or whatever will be able to have stuff like that. But that, I mean, if they're heading in that direction, that is huge, because business is a large part of farming. It really is. So anyway, 295 for that one. Oh God, they do get expensive up there, don't they? 423, 495. It's 500,000. That's 400. That's 400. 231. That is a strange plot of land to buy. Not sure why you would want to buy that, but whatever's. 370, 213. That's not bad. We've got some area to build on. We're near the railroad. We've got a decent sized field. 137. 126. 102. Right next to the animal dealer. That's a cool little spot. I'm liking that right now. 102,000. Wow, 210 for all of that. It's twice the price. And there's some buildings there as well. I'm not sure if you can remove buildings when you buy them or not. 200,000, 360, 152, 202. Another thing I'd like to see on the maps is the height. Because I have, like I said, I've tried to make this review a few times. And I think I bought this plot of land here for 152,000. Looks pretty good on the map. But when you get there, you can see it's a massive hill. An enormous hill. And I couldn't do anything with it at all. It was too hilly. I didn't have enough money to buy tractors that could even get up and down the hill. So, yeah. You do need to be careful when you buy stuff. I can see there's a field there. 171,000. That's not bad. Got a few trees. We don't have any trees here, but I suppose we could plant some. We want to do some lumberjacking. 400 odd, 500 odd, 500 odd, 300, 216. Oh, look, that little snippet there is not available. Interesting. 500,000, 440 odd, 207, 446, 179, 676, 253. Okay, so I'm torn between, well, that's 300,000, which is actually very expensive. I'm thinking one of these four is going to be my starting point. And that is a very big field, isn't it? Or it looks to be. 213,000, or half that price, for a smaller plot. We go and look at 14. Let's go and look at 14. Where is 14? There somewhere?